Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2021 action-adventure film Weekend Warriors. A film that is co-directed by Brett Bortle and Richie Greer. And it stars Jason London and Corbin Bernsen. And it focuses on two kids, a teenager and his 10-year-old sister, who go on a weekend trip with their uncle. Their uncle goes on basically weekend war games, trips with his friends up in the mountains. It's like paintballing where they play war games and they compete with other teams. And he intends to take his niece and nephew up on the mountains for this weekend for a getaway. However, things turned sour pretty quickly as one of the members of the group is an ex-criminal with anger issues who thinks that their uncle has forced himself on his girlfriend. Takes matters into his own hand, which forces the two children to run for their lives into the woods to try and escape this group of weekend warriors. Right, what are my thoughts on this film, Weekend Warriors? Oh boy, this is again not a very good film, guys, unfortunately. Yeah, this was a real struggle to get through. I thought the idea was sound here. Sometimes these survival films can be quite good. You against the elements with a real threat that's chasing you. Good ingredients for an interesting and tense film. Unfortunately, this film doesn't have any of that. It's not tense at all, really. And it's chocked full of unbelievable characters and situations, really. It's just, I don't know, there's just so much wrong with this film, I don't know where to start. Right at the beginning of the film, when they're heading out into the mountains, they're followed by the police. And that's when you start learning of this guy's anger issues and the fact that he's an ex-criminal, and he gets out this gun saying, I'm not going back to jail. And I'm thinking, well, why would you go back to jail? What have you done? Nothing. You just got a police car following you. And then this police car stops. He's run out of fuel. That's the worst cop ever. He's gone out patrolling the area and he's run out of fuel. Yes, that was the reason this police officer stopped. They're supposed to be hunting these two helpless kids, and we see that they're actually quite good at these war games thing because they go up against like this elite team, and they take down this quite elite team fairly quickly, but they can't get these two little kids. Not really. I mean, they do track them down a couple of times, but they don't effectively take them out or anything like that. It's just very tame stuff. And for me, I just couldn't get past the fact that this uncle, this Joey, would take them on this weekend warriors trip anyway. They're far too young. The people that he's mixing with are very unsavoury. He must recognise and know that, even though he's not himself. He knows that these people are potentially what they're capable of, and he still takes his niece and nephew along anyway. Worst uncle ever. And there's a bit in the film where the little girl, bless her, gets shot with an arrow, like a crossbow arrow. And while it looks reasonably painful initially, and she'll have a couple of yelps here and there, for the rest of the film, she's basically walking around with an arrow in her back, with very little complaining and moaning going on. It was just like, I can't get past this. But in regards to positives, like I say, I do think the concept here is good. I do think the idea is good. There's the bones here of a good film. The performances, actually, from the two kids are actually pretty good. Normally in low-budget films, you normally sometimes get what you pay for in regards to performances, with child actors especially, but I actually think they're actually very, very good. And they've got to hold the screen for much of the film, and they do a decent job of doing it. Fortunately, some of the adults surrounding them don't do as good a job. Beside the two kids who I think do a decent job, the rest of the cast, it's spotty at best. Some of them pretty decent. Some of them, not so much. And Corbin Burnson, if you recognise that name, he's been in films like Major League and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Pretty big name back in the day. He's barely in it. He plays the local sheriff, and he's in 2 or 3 scenes. He's not really in it. I think it's just one of those situations where they can put a name on the poster, if you like. So while this is a missed opportunity, and it's one of those low-budget films, again, where the budget lets it down, I really, really struggle to get on board with this. The fact that this whole group just agree to go after these kids to cover up what one of their, like the leader has done. I'm sorry, but I'd be like, I'm out, you know. And while a couple of the characters kind of do come to that conclusion, some of the others, the reasons why they go along with it just don't make sense to me, apart from one when he loses his brother. So unfortunately, this is a pretty poor film, guys. I'm going to have to give it a 3 out of 10, one I suggest you avoid. So I hope you found this review useful. I'll, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.